Hello everybody, it's me, back with Cooking with Cory, and I'm going to be making a pork pot pie today. I prepared a lot of this stuff early, and the main reason I did that is because this is not one of those recipes that's real quick like that, but it's a good thing to get rid of leftovers. So if you are going to be having a bunch of meat left over from something, then this is something that you might enjoy making. So anyway, let me put you guys over here for now so you can see, and boy, that lighting is terrible. Let's see if I can fix that by just turning this off. Yeah, great, still sucks. Anyway, so when you make a pot pie, the main thing is you're trying to get rid of leftovers. So it doesn't really matter what kind of meat you use. Right now I'm using a leftover pork roast because since I live alone now and I don't really have time to or actually the belly to eat an entire pork roast. I have a lot of pork roast left, so that's why I made it with pork. So, and also, you're supposed to use already cooked vegetables because I didn't already have some. So like if you do a roast, a lot of times you have carrots and potatoes and all that left over. You can just use those and put that right into your pot pie. But for me, I don't worry about it. So anyway, I prefer to make my own pie crust, so I have right here, this is real lard, is that what, there, bam, lard. So lard makes the best, most flaky pie crust. Crisco's not bad, but it's not the best in the world. I'm just saying, I don't like it as much. It'll work in a pinch. So anyway, there's some salt in here with this flour, and you wanna give it a couple of go throughs your sifter. And the reason that you're sifting this is because you want your baking ingredients to be mixed pretty well. So all you're doing is mixing the ingredients. And when you're mixing two dry things together, a lot of times it's not that easy to do. Just stirring it with like a spoon or something, it's not going to get mixed as well. So yeah, I give it like 2 or 3 goes through. All that's in here right now is just salt and flour. That's pretty much pie crust. That's salt, flour, and lard. I mean, that's seriously. And some cold water to make it all stick together. Alright, so that's our sifting. Go over here and stir the veggies a little more. Now, your traditional pot pies, your store-bought pot pies usually have potatoes in it, and because I cook potatoes with my roast, and I saved a potato somewhere. Where's my potato? There it is. Alright. Got my potato, my chop. I'm going to, hey, nobody's watching. Awesome. Love it. Somebody logged in for like 3 seconds and then they jumped off. So they must have gotten bored immediately and said, I'm out of here. Alright. So because my potato has already been cooked, I don't really have to cook it with the other vegetables. And same with like peas. I'm going to just put a can or a partial can of peas in there. Or if you had frozen peas, you could throw some frozen peas in there. It's all up to your little happy liking and what you decide is good for you. But my veggies are mostly done. They're already warm and soft, so I'm just going to throw those in there for now. So my stuff to make my gravy is already rendered down. I'm gonna keep my mouth water. Okay, I'll keep that stuff going over there. Now, it's 2/3 of a cup of lard. So I'm gonna get my lard cutter. I'm gonna get my 2/3 of a cupper, and I'm going to take my lard and just cut it. Guess it would help if I used a little bit bigger spatula the next time, but whatever. Alright, so I'm going to pack it all in there, make it look good, make it fit. Again, with baking, baking's kind of squirrely because baking is like chemistry. You got to make sure that you're putting the right chemicals in there, or just your ingredients, or your stuff will not turn out as well as you may have liked it. All right, so there's 1/3 of a cup of lard. Kind of fell off. That's my bad. All right, so we'll scoop that in there. Now we will. Alright. So it's 2 cups of flour, 2/3 of a cup of lard. And don't worry about getting your fingers all in there. My hands are clean. Hopefully you wash your hands a lot when you cook like I do. Anyway, so that's that. Now you want to keep your lard cold because lard is fat, and it's not like your vegetable fats where you can just chunk it in the cabinet and leave it. You want to actually keep it cold. So what I do is I try to keep it like my butter, and I just fold it all back up into its pretty little box and put it back in there. Now another reason I do that is because if you follow along, I like to read the directions on stuff. So the actual directions on how to make your pie crust, because the only people who use lard now are people that are going to bake a pie, because like I said, it makes the best and the flakiest pie crust. So that's why people use it. It's also really good. One of these days this week I'm going to do a fish fry, and I'm going to show you how to use throw the lard in your deep fat fryer and fry up your fishies. Alright, so it says to cut it in there with your pastry knives, or 2 knives, or whatever you got going on. For me, because I do bake a lot, somewhere in one of my drawers is my pastry knife. Yep. So this is a pastry knife. If you ever saw it in your mom's kitchen, you had no clue what it was, that's what it is. It's a pastry knife. So we crunch this down into here. We start mixing our lard in there with our dry stuff. Again, you want your lard to be warm, well, at least room temperature. But once it's served its purpose, you can put it back in the refrigerator. I actually set this out a little bit earlier so that it would be warm in room temperature, so I could mix it and make pie dough, pie crust. This recipe makes 2 pie crusts. So what I'm probably going to do immediately after this is make a pie, like a fruit pie. So we will see that one later. But for now, I'm going to continue on making my pie crust for this meat pie. And if you ever watch Sweeney Todd's meat pie, you can put anything in a meat pie as long as it's meat and gravy and vegetables. And some people don't even put that in there. And if you're like a veggie person, you can take like portobello mushrooms or whatever your favorite meat substitute, tofu, disgusting, but you could actually mix those into a pot pie and make yucky tofu pot pie or whatever. But the portobello mushrooms one actually sounds pretty good. I could dig some mushrooms in a pot pie. I think that would be pretty tasty. But anyway, you're going to keep blending that until it turns into pea-sized blobs. And I'm trying not to burn my vegetables over here. I just want them warm. Woo! Okay, a little bit hot there. Alright, so we'll turn this off. Hot veggies. I say spice things up the way you like them, and depending on what you like. Some people do not like real spicy stuff. Some people don't like a lot of weird flavors in there. I put some sage in there, and I roasted the vegetables with butter because that's what I like, and I like butter on everything. And like I said, since this is going to be a pork pot pie, made with a lean pork roast, I just wanted a little more flavor in there because I didn't want it to be bland. So anyway, so most of the people who actually watch my YouTube are chatting, texting each other back and forth about some gaming stuff that they're going to do this weekend, and I'm assuming that's why nobody's watching, because that's really the only people who watch my feed anyway. So Adam, if you and Shiloh are watching this later, just give you a shout out. Alright. Okay. Okay, so this is starting to look really... It says it'll resemble course meal. Doesn't always do that, but you know when it's blended enough when you have a lot less powder in there and a lot more stuff sticking together. So then you know that you did it right. You did a good job and you got it all mixed up in there. I know Rachel's not watching because she's out doing her second job. So I am just going to keep doing this here all by myself. Alright, so anyway, this stuff is starting to stick together pretty well. I like it. It's really good. Another good thing about if you use like Crisco or some of the other methods of making pie crust, you have to flour the table a lot to keep your pie crust from sticking, which then ends up making your pie crust really dense and hard, which kind of sucks. So anyway, that's not bad there. So we need some icy water, 5 to 7 teaspoons. Is that tablespoons? Tablespoons. 5 to 7 tablespoons. Wash my hands again. Alright. So we get in here. Now, 5 to 7 tablespoons of ice water. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I have bottles of water that I freeze so that they're cold, and then I just pop some water in there, and it makes it all good. And I got my ice water. So let's see. Let's start out with 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it says 5 to 7. We're going to start with 5 and see if that's going to stick. And if it doesn't, we'll add a little more. But for now, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be okay. I'll take a pastry knife. I'll start mushing this together in here. Mush, mush, mush. Mushy, mushy, mushy. Mushy, mushy. And we get it all in there. It's starting to stick together. The flour is absorbing the water, making it dry, but it's also forming a very workable dough. Now, sometimes this gets very difficult to work with, and what you do whenever your pie crust starts to get unruly or it's sticky, or you just like, man, I can't deal with this, it's driving me nuts, it's sticking to my hands, it's sticking to the table, it's sticking to whatever I touch, then you put it in the freezer and you put it in timeout for a little bit, and while it's in timeout freezing, you can go cool off because you're going to be all pissed off that your dough was being unruly. Alright, so it's all sticking together. And then you can take it out after you cool off and the dough cools off, and you'll be able to play with it, and it'll be a lot more manageable. So anyway, so now we're going to start mixing it with our hands. It's kind of like bread dough in a way. We're going to knead it a little bit, see how that works out. Now thing is, if I had it, I'd use a steel bowl for this, and I would have the bowl really cold. Like I'd stick the bowl in the freezer too, so the bowl's cold. It's just easier to work with dough when it's cold. Just saying. Just letting you know that. But I'm really hungry, and it's already like 8 o'clock here, and I haven't ate dinner. And I went for a 3-mile run today, so I'm extremely hungry. I may just drink some Herbalife, or Gerbalife, as Andre likes to call it. Drinking the Gerbalife. Alright, so anyway, you split your dough in half. You get 2 good-sized dough balls. Like I said, I'm going to save one of these dough balls because that's going to be a pie later. And I'm going to use the other dough ball for my stuff here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these in the fridge and let them cool a little bit because I'm going to go mess around with the gravy stuff. Trust me, they'll be fine to roll out when it comes to time to do rolling out. Right now, wash my hands. I wonder if this electrolyte worked a little bit better. It doesn't help at all, does it? Anyway, so let's come over here. Follow me over here, people. Now, like I try to keep these videos at 20 minutes, but I think I might be just a scotch over on this one. But like I said, I tried to prep everything early so you wouldn't have to deal with a whole bunch of, you know, me talking to myself and you not seeing what's going on. So I took a few shortcuts, but I said you can do that anytime. So that looks a little better. Lighting is just so terrible in here. And now we got the big giant sun in the background. That sucks. Anyway. So I got this, the butter's in here. It's getting ready to be mixed with the flour. So this is going to be our gravy. Alright, so that's 6 tablespoons of butter and 6 tablespoons of flour. Mix those bad baby jabies together. We got a little mixer upper here. And we'll stir that around. And it's gonna, oh, it looks really, really good. And then also, depending on the pie, like some people, if you're making a chicken pot pie, you're gonna use chicken gravy. If you're making a beef pot pie, obviously you want to use beef gravy. But if you're making a pork one, they don't really make a pork bouillon or whatever. I mean they do, but how many people carry around pork bouillon and what are you gonna do with it? So what I did, because this is gonna be pork, and because I really didn't have any chicken broth, which would probably be better with pork because it's white meat and it's a white thing. But anyway, you're gonna add this in here, 2 cups of broth. Your gravy. I'm just going to kind of keep that going there. Oh my, there we go. Chunks in there. You want this to get warm. You don't want to boil it, like per se, like you're not hard boiling it, because that would be bad. But I mean, you want it to thicken up, and the flour and the heat are gonna make this thicken up a little bit. Alright, so there's 2 cups of that. I'm going to slide my lard action back into the refrigerator. Over here. Heavy cream. Alright, I know it says 1 cup of heavy cream on the recipe. I don't normally keep heavy cream running around. You can use coffee creamer if you want. You can use half and half. You can use whatever. I'm just going to use whole milk because it's what I got in the refrigerator. And And you can also use sour cream, which works really well and makes it very thick, and then you don't have to cook the make this go as long because it'll be really thick when you use sour cream, and it gives it a really yummy sour flavor. What am I at? 20 minutes? I'm already at 20 minutes. I'm not even ready to put this in the oven yet. So anyway, if you would have had to watch me cut the vegetables and cut up a pork roast and do all that other stuff, you'd have been like, wow, this really sucks. I'm really bored. You suck, Cory. Do something else. But anyway. Clean up as I go. A little hydration going. Yes, John, that's CR7 drive. I guess CR7 is some soccer player. I don't know. I like the stuff. Hydrates me. Tastes really good. It's yummy. I'm good. Anyway. And nobody's still watching, so I'm talking to myself. Whatever. Alright, so it calls for 1/4 cup salt. Or 1/4 cup. 1/4 teaspoon. Well, that'd have been a mistake, wouldn't it? And 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Bam. Now it says to cook this. Again, I'm going to turn it up a little bit because I'm really trying to get it done whilst you folks are watching. But yeah, like I was saying, you can use pork gravy. You can use canned. You can like go to the store and buy those cans of already made gravy and just plop it in there. It's all good. As long as you got some gravy to keep the meat moist, you don't really have to worry about too much because it'll all work out. All right. I've already got the oven set to 425. It's been heating for a little while. It's all good. I'm just trying to get this to thicken up a little bit because it really sucks having a gravy that's not real thick. Now, what you can do to speed it up is you can take your good old cornstarch because cornstarch is a thickening agent, and that is what it does. It thickens things. So, if your gravy's just, you're like, damn man, that still just don't look right, man. It don't look right to me. Now, normally, you don't put cornstarch into something that's already hot. You mix it with some liquid, you make it into a paste or a juice, and then you put it in. But, because I'm the dude making this and I know how to mix stuff up and keep it going while it's in there, don't worry about it. It's good. It's all good. So usually a recipe that calls for like tablespoons of flour, 1/4 of what cornstarch is what you would use. So if it's a tablespoon of flour, you would use a 1/4 of a tablespoon of cornstarch. And then if you're even more high speed and you have a super cool kitchen that has arrowroot in it, you can use arrowroot, which is about 1/8 of what you would use because arrowroot really thickens things up a lot too. But I don't know too many people that carry that around in their kitchen, and it's not like a common spice that you can just go buy at the Walmart or whatever. Well, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it at Walmart. If you have, leave me a message on my board. I'll dig it. I'll go look at it, see if I can get some. Anyway, so you go with the gravy. You thicken it up. You go just a little bit past where it's starting to thicken up, and then you let it cook for a few minutes. Now, so you don't burn the snot out of yourself. You take your meat and you dump that in there. Here, Noah, you want some pork? Here, some pork right there. Take that. Get it, bud, right there. Nom, 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 nom. Oh yeah, pork roast, huh? This was a really tasty pork roast, by the way. Just so you know, I'm not using some ghetto crap in here. This is actually pretty tasty. Alright, so now I have to switch from said device number 1 to something else because it's getting too thick now. Okay. And another good thing is, like, the pork roast already had spices all over it, so you can say that those spices on that pork roast are gonna add into the flavor of this. Anyway, so and then we'll add in the vegetables. So meanwhile, this whole time I've had the pastry cooling in the refrigerator so that it'll be easier to roll out and it won't stick to everything that it touches. Because that sucks when that happens. Hi Rachel, I know you're gonna watch later, so I'll say hi now. Alright, so that's looking almost like the guts from a real pot pie that you would buy at the store. Just, my gravy's a little bit waterier than I would like it. But the good thing is you're going to cook this in the oven, you're going to bake it, and it's going to thicken up again. If you notice, it's kind of a trend with the stuff I made. Like, it's really hard to mess it up because you're just going to do something else to it that's going to make it better. So, you have your big casserole dish. You want something that's going to hold at least, let's see, what do we got? We got, well, there's a cup, 2 cups of broth. There's 4 cups of meat. That's 6 cups. You have like a cup of milk, 7, 8. You want something that's going to be able to hold a lot of cups. So make sure that your pan is going to hold the volume of goo that you're about to feed it. And I like the gravy being a little bit thicker because I don't want to cut into this and just have it oozing all over the place. And I want to make sure that this is going to set really well. Okay. Anyway, and Rob, if you're watching this is real good to like stack some weight on you because I know you're trying to gain weight and hopefully you can keep it down. But this has a lot of calories in it per serving, and it's pretty yummy. And you know, it's something that's kind of fun. Your wife can have the kids help her make it. So I think you would dig it. I think you would dig it a lot. So anyway, oh, even smells like a pot pie, which is good because it's supposed to smell like a pot pie. That would be really rude if it did not smell like what we were trying to make. And smell is part of your ability to taste, I believe. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that one of your senses is when you smell things, that's kind of how you taste. So that's why they say people that like quit smoking, they get fat because everything tastes good. I quit smoking in '98, so some of you probably weren't even alive then. Anyway, yeah, I can tell you food did taste better when it didn't have freaking tar and nicotine slime attached to it. Alright, so we're going to try to level this out as much as we can. See we're it's nice and level in there. We got big old hunks, and you know the hunks are up to you. Some people like the little like, you know, Tyson dinner pot pie, little baby hunkies. Some people like me, like big chunks, so I like the big chunks. So back over to the table. Sorry about all the moving. I know that's annoying, but you need to see as we come over here and make our pie crust. Alright. Dough ball number 1. We roll them out like this. You can throw a little bit of flour down if you want, but like I said, the good thing about this is you don't have to do that because it's got won't stick like Crisco or some of the other stuff. At least that's what I have come to find. Now, sometimes that's not always true. Sometimes that is very not true, and you will freaking curse at me and tell me I'm a butt when you find out that it's not enough, and then, oh crap, it didn't work. Oh snap. Okay, so see, it's already getting to where it doesn't want to cooperate anymore. Alright. And I think I need to use both of them because that is a pretty large area to cover, and it's only supposed to be 1/8 of an inch thick. So what I'm going to do, because it's a square or a rectangle, I'm going to throw a little more dough on it here. I have to roll this up and try again, because just said you don't want to work it too much because you don't want it to get hot and then it just sticking to everything. All right, so right now we got our goo on there. All right, I really like these rolling pins like this. I mean, some people like the other rolling pin, you know, and it's a preference thing. You like it, whatever. It's what makes you happy. I prefer this kind of rolling pin, just because I do. Anyway, so we're gonna get this bad baby. Yeah, spread it nice and big. Going out right there. Okay, so now what we'll do is make sure it's going to fit. So we'll take this little bad boy and we'll go. Oh yeah, it's going to fit. It's going to fit just right. Oh. Go side to side now. And if you're like me, I like the crust on the pot pie. So I don't mind that it might be a little bit thicker than 1/8 of an inch, just because my personal preference is that I do that. So, so I want it just about as wide as we can get it. It's easier to trim from the sides than it is to try to add dough, because you just can't do that. You cannot add dough. You can cut dough and move it to another location, which I suggest if you're going to do, if you have a handy dandy pizza cutter, because what you can do is you can clean up your edges here like that, and you can peel off this excess that's on the side here. Wow, really? Nobody loves me. Damn, nobody's on today. That's alright. I know people gotta work and stuff like that. But anyway, so what we'll do is we'll put this bad baby up here. And just slide that sucker on there. Like I said, a good thing with dough, you can just keep working it. You can move it. As long as you don't get too carried away with it. You can make it about, like I said, about 1/8 of an inch thick. And then you can put it on where it needs to go. If it starts to get too sticky and it's sticking to your hands and it's just kind of making a mess, just put it back in the freezer. Unless you got, kids squawking or somebody squawking to eat because they're starving to death because they haven't ate, which, I tell my kids is, you don't know what starving is. You never been hungry in their lives. He's not starving to death hungry. Alright. Oh, there we go. Oh, that looks beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And I don't know if Charles is watching, but I found your kielbasa's, so I'm waiting for Packer season to start, and then I will get on that about sending you those sausages that you wanted me to get you while I was in Green Bay. All right, so what you got to do now, and like I said, this is the challenge of making pie crust is you don't want it to stick, but you don't want it to, God bless it, okay. So what I'm trying to do now is get said pie crust not to be part of the table right now. There we go. It's all good, it's all good. Might have a few holes, it's okay, we can fix holes. I don't mind about a hole. I ain't mother sucker gonna have a hole in. I'm not gonna sweat a hole. But alright. Oh, big holes we don't like. Do not want giant holes in it. Okay. So you roll it up on your rolling pin like this, and then you peel it off of there as you roll it out. It should not stick. Should not, I say. I say that. Just now as you watch me roll this sucker out, and then you're like, oh, ha, 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 Cory, it stuck. No, didn't turn out too bad. Let me tell you. So now, so you want to put it in a nice little bed there. It doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. It's a pot pie, man. It's like a casserole. You just dump it in the dish and you call it good. And you know, somebody wants to complain about it, well, they suck. So they should be happy that you made them something by hand instead of just went to the freezer section and bought some cheap crap and gave them that stuff. All right. So I said I love the crust, so I'm going to make sure that I have lots of crust around here, and I'm going to thumb it down, tuck it in, make a little blinky. Yeah. Come around this corner here. Really? Nobody's still watching? Alright, you guys. I see how it is. I see how it is. I can't game on Friday, so my followers have decided to not watch me since I can't game with them. That's okay. I don't care. It's all good. It's all good. Because I am going to have me some nice chicken pork pot pie. Alright, that was a little longer than I expected, but voila, there's your pot pie. I'm going to cut some holes in it so the steam can get out, and then I'm going to cook it for about 30 minutes, and it'll be good.